it's not just the knowledge, it's the ability to actually become part of that team, part of that community, and then make friends, and friends introduce me to more friends. That's really valuable.
Welcome to Believe in Progress, the American Association for Cancer Research Foundation podcast. Join us and be inspired by the incredible stories of those who have faced cancer with strength and resilience, and the medical professionals who are working tirelessly to find new treatments and ultimately a cure. Believe in Progress isn't just about the science of cancer. It's about the human side of this disease. Together, we can make progress in the fight against cancer and bring hope to those who need it most. Welcome to the Believe in Progress podcast, where we highlight the remarkable contributions of individuals driving the fight against cancer. I'm your host, Mitch Stoller, Chief Philanthropic Officer at the AACR. Today, we have the honor of speaking with Dr. William Pao and Dr. Lillian Su, two esteemed members of the AACR Board of Directors and the AACR Asian, American, and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Task Force. Dr. Pao and Dr. Su are at the forefront of promoting the contributions of AANHPI scientists and fostering greater diversity in cancer research and leadership. Join us as we explore their groundbreaking work and the significant impact of AANHPI contributions to the field of oncology. Well, Dr. Pao and Dr. Su, welcome to Believe in Progress. Thank you so much for dedicating some of your very special time to us today. I'm ecstatic that we're doing this episode, and was so happy that William approached me about a month ago to talk about this idea and this concept. So welcome to Believe in Progress. Nice to have you here.
Thanks a lot, Mitch. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Mitch.
You're welcome. Well, William, as the chair of the AACR AANHPI Task Force, can you share the main objectives of the task force and how it aims to enhance the visibility and contributions of AANHPI scientists in cancer research?
So, according to the U.S. Census in 2020, there's about 20 million people in the U.S. who claim a background of being Asian or Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. That's about 6% of the population. But by contrast, according to the National Science Foundation in 2019, there's actually about 21% of the faculty in academic biomedical science that has an Asian background, and 30% of trainees. And then we actually took a look at AACR, and out of the 55,000 plus members of AACR across the globe, it turns out about 35% claim to have Asian background, and that's applicable whether it's in the US alone or just across the entire world. So a significant fraction of our membership is actually of AANHPI or Asian background. And so with that, I requested that AACR take a look and look particularly at leadership roles and awards. And it turns out there, only about 6% of leadership roles and awards are actually given to members that are have an Asian background. So with that background, then I approached Marge Fody and the board and suggested that we put a task force together that would address leadership across AACR among AANHPI members. And basically with the goal of identifying ways that we could enhance the leadership and visibility of our Asian and AANHPI members. So with 19 members across the United States and 7 from Asia, we met several times and brainstormed on some ideas. And then basically we came up with a few. One is to enhance greater visibility of global Asian and AANHPI leadership in AACR. And that includes leadership roles, awards, and contributions. And then because we have a significant fraction of our membership from Asia, we also wanted to increase the number of meetings that we have in Asia. I'll stop there.
Yeah, William, when did you come up with this idea? I mean, is it a year ago? Was it a little bit longer, or had you been thinking about this for a while?
Oh, that's a great question. So I joined the board in 2022 and then was thinking about some different issues to help AACR with. And then we approached the board in April of 2023.
I see. I forgot to mention to the audience as well, both Dr. Pao and Dr. Su are esteemed members of the board of directors of the AACR. And Dr. Su, congratulations, was elected by the membership of AACR to be the next president of AACR. She's actually the president-elect of AACR, and we're all very excited about that. And Dr. Su, you are also a member of the task force.
Thank you, Mitch.
And you have an extensive background in drug development. How does the task force plan to support and mentor upcoming AANHPI researchers in the field?
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. I think there are multiple areas that this task force can help the AANHPI researchers to grow their presence in AACR and also in the drug development field. I want to cover 4 areas. First of all, in terms of grants and awards, I think we certainly want to encourage and support these researchers, especially the junior faculty members, trainees, to attend meetings, not just in Asia, but worldwide. AACR has Global Scholar in Training Awards, and we can certainly promote that in the population that we're interested to promote. We also have seed grants to support researchers, especially in the low-middle income countries. The second area is obviously meetings and workshops. I think the task force can advocate to hold more AACR meetings in Asia related to drug development, leveraging some of the scientific areas of interest to the local scientists. We have AACR on campus. Certainly we can carry that out in the Asia and Asia Pacific countries. I think it would be very interesting to create a workshop such as the Molecular Biology in Clinical Oncology workshop, the MBCO, similar to the one we hold in Coronado, California in Asia. The third aspect is mentorship opportunities. We can certainly create more workshops, such as the one we have in Australia, the Accord workshop, that really help young investigators to design clinical trials. I think we can think about virtual mentorship opportunities and also establish fellowships and observerships outside of Asia for Asian Pacific and Asia scientists to facilitate their networking opportunities. And the last aspect is visibility. We want to increase the regional visibility as well as global visibility, and perhaps we can consider more such scientists in our editorial board, standing and scientific committees, speaking roles, awards, etc. I think there are many opportunities for us to.
Why do you think there's a reluctance? You think there is a reluctance for the younger scientists to get involved in gaining more visibility, like you're just talking about, getting involved in committees, or is that really more on our side? Are we more responsible for reaching out and trying to bring more people in?
I think it's both, and I would be interested to hear what William thinks. I think there is probably some shyness to the Asian population. They are not used to speaking up as much in meetings, and I think we should encourage that culture. And at the same time, there needs to be more opportunities for them to be able to speak up and William? To network.
Yeah, I would agree. I think some of the Asian cultures place less of an emphasis on speaking up and more respecting of the elders, etc. I don't want to be too stereotypical, but that is it plays out.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I want to touch on mentorship for a minute. Lillian, you mentioned the importance of mentorship, but in both of your experiences, could you touch a little bit about how mentors played a really important part in your careers and continue to play an important part in your careers? Because I think that's something, since my time here at AACR, I hear us talk a lot about mentors and mentorship and the importance of that. It seems like this is really a big deal for this community, I would imagine.
I can start. I think mentorship is incredibly important, relationships, and I would encourage people to seek out mentors at all levels. I personally have definitely benefited from having mentors, not only my own lab mentors as a graduate student and postdoc, for example, and clinical mentors during training, but then also in pharma when I went and transitioned, also sought out other mentors. And I don't think you should just limit your mentors to the people who you report to or who are supposed to be helping you. Mentors can be all over the place. Even coming up at the recent AACR meeting, I was still seeking mentors and asking advice from lots of different people. You also want to get people interested in helping advance your career, and not just having it be asking for advice. And I think that's also part of mentorship and relationships.
Yeah, Lillian, I was reading a little bit about some of your mentors, Dan Von Hoff being one of them, who's someone that I've known, and a few other really wonderful scientists and ecologists. Tell me how that's played a pivotal part in your career.
Yeah, I've been blessed with having several mentors in my career, and I still am very close friends to them and with them. I think it's obviously scientifically important for us to have mentors because they guide our research and they stimulate innovative thinking to help us learn how to think for ourselves, to have original ideas. I also think mentors are important to teach us soft skills, because these are things that you don't read in textbooks or, learn from a lecture. How to really deal with conflicts, how to time manage, work-life balance. I think all these are really important skill sets that listening from somebody that has done it and has lessons to teach is really, really
diverse
important.
Leadership is really important, in the pipeline in cancer research. How's the task force going to approach this, William, trying to continue to promote diversity for leadership issues?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a diverse set of opinions when we discuss or tackle certain issues. And so it's not only restricted to AANHPI, but all diverse opinions. And so I think AACR and we are very supportive of trying to have as much diverse leadership as possible. Different people bring different perspectives, not only about their cultures, but ways of thinking, but also scientific approaches, scientific areas of interest, etc. So I think with the task forces raising awareness about this issue, I think the board of directors, the AACR leadership, and others will keep these in mind as other task forces are put together, as leadership roles are put together, as awards and contributions are recognized.
And Lillian, you mentioned your passion for drug development. It sparked from an ad, many years ago in the Journal of Clinical Oncology. So how can we inspire the next generation of scientists, of AANHPI scientists, to follow these types of to pursue this career like you've done?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I literally was thinking about my future and not sure where and what I want to do. And I was pursuing a master's degree at that time, and I completed that master's degree in clinical epidemiology. But I really wanted to do something that is different, and that I literally opened, a journal and read the ads. Who reads the ads? Well, I did. And and it was a very interesting job description. And I said, wow, this is something I really, really think would be of interest for me. And I was obviously right, thank goodness. I guess to answer your question, Mitch, I think we need to have more opportunities for young investigators to be able to hear the options out there. Obviously, if you're always in your own lab, in your own, institution, you might not have a chance to see what's out there. And I really encourage early career investigators to see the world, so to speak, whether it's an observership, fellowship, postdoc. I certainly benefited from that time abroad. I went to San Antonio, Texas, and learned from individuals like Dan Von Hoff, Eric Lewinsky, Gail Eckhart. And it's not just the knowledge, it's the ability to actually become part of that team, part of that community, and then make friends, and friends introduce me to more friends. That's really valuable.
That's really great advice, I think. You guys touched on cultural issues and some cultural perspectives. So I'm curious about how cultural perspective influence the approach to cancer treatment and patient care among the AANHPI populations. What can we learn from these perspectives to improve outcomes globally? So that's a question for both of you. Perhaps, William, you could start.
Yeah, so maybe I'll start just on the scientific side.
Yes.
I think particularly when you think about Asian countries and the incidences of cancers, there are different cancers that are more prevalent there than in the U.S. or in Europe. And those include things such as liver cancer, gastric cancer, nasopharyngeal cancer, lung cancer, and never smokers. So just from even a scientific perspective, I think there'll be lots of different interest and expertise in different areas. And so as AACR being a global organization, we need to recognize that. And some of the meetings in Asia may address those more, but even the national meetings, I think, could highlight and recognize that people in different countries have different incidences of different cancers. And so research needs to be pursued in all those different areas.
Hi, everyone. This is Mitch Stoller, Chief Philanthropic Officer at the AACR and the host of Believe in Progress. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I wanted to take a quick moment to remind you that your support is vital in our fight against cancer. As we always say at the AACR, cancer research saves lives, but we cannot do that without the generous support of people like you. If you're moved by the stories and insights shared in our podcast, please consider making a donation to AACR by visiting aacr.org. Your contributions help fund essential research and provide support to those affected by cancer. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to the Believe in Progress podcast. By subscribing and sharing with your friends and family, you help us reach more people with these important conversations. Thank you for your support. Now let's get back to the episode. One of your goals you said earlier was that we probably we need more meetings, globally, specifically in Asia. Do you have any specific concrete thoughts about that, or have you talked to Dr. Foti about any of these potential meetings in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it at the board, and I know Dr. Foti, who I really want to thank also for her support of the entire task force and the whole process, is also interested. I think we're not ready to disclose maybe what's going to happen.
Right.
But I think there will be more meetings in Asia.
Fantastic. And Lillian, your thoughts on cultural perspectives?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Hong Kong, and I came over to Canada when I was at teenage. So I still have a lot of Asian roots in me, and I think from a Chinese and Asian perspective, the culture is very important. Family is very important, and obviously family is important to everyone. But I think certainly for a lot of our Asian patients, there's a lot of collectivism, that there is a lot of dependence and respect for the family members. So when you, for example, disclose a cancer diagnosis to a patient, it's not to a patient, it's to a patient and his or her family, that you're going to have to think about all the opinions and attitudes, and also how they wish to handle the news and the prognosis and the treatment. And that's something I've grown very sort of sensitive to in terms of that culture in the world. Other aspects, obviously, screening is an important part of cancer control, and cancer screening is not as prevalent as I think it should be in many Asian countries. Probably, again, because of the attitude towards, seeing doctors and seeking help when there is a symptom. And I think that's something that we can promote significantly in terms of cancer communication, understanding how important it is for cancer prevention and screening, and seeking help early on if there are any concerning symptoms or findings. I think these are really important in terms of education and cancer communications.
Yeah, it seems to me that education side could be low-hanging fruit for AACR to really get behind something like that and really make people aware of that. I was curious when you were talking about speaking to a family, letting them know that one of their loved ones has cancer. As a doctor, is that a hard thing to do? I mean, is it challenging to do that and have that conversation?
It's challenging because in some cultures, telling a patient that he or she has cancer is difficult, especially in the elders, where sometimes a family may not wish for them to really know about that news because it may affect their attitudes towards life. And I've worked through that kind of challenge over the years where we can work together to turn this into a more positive angle, such that it's not always a negative perspective that the family does not want to disclose to the sick, family member. And I think that's really something we can work together in terms of education to make sure they understand with this new modern era of therapeutics, there's a lot more available in terms of treatment options, and the outlook is not always as grim as the word cancer holds.
Right. William, could you provide some examples of some significant contributions of AANHPI scientists to cancer research? As an example, the work of Min-Chu Lee, and why it's so important to highlight these achievements, again, back to the education and the visibility side of things.
Yeah, sure. So before I do that, I just wanted to highlight that when we say AANHPI,
yes,
that's not only Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders, but the Asian American part actually encompasses many, many different countries. So not only mainland China, Taiwan, Japan, Korea, also South Asia, so Pakistan, India, then Malaysia, Indonesia, et cetera, et cetera. So there's just lots of different countries encompassed.
Huge demographic there.
In that definition, yes. Yeah. So with that, then for May is AANHPI Heritage Month. And so the U.S., even the White House, has recognized that this month is a time to celebrate the contributions of various AANHPI folks who have really helped this country in the U.S. And for AACR, that means also highlighting the contributions that have been to advance cancer research, to make differences in the patients' lives with cancer, et cetera, also with education. So I'm really happy that AACR has highlighted a couple scientists. The first one you mentioned is Min-Chu Lee. So he won the Lasker Award, which is one of the top awards in the U.S. for science and medicine in 1972. So it turns out he was one of the first, or among the first, to cure a patient with a metastatic solid tumor cancer with chemotherapy. He was originally from China and then was working actually at Memorial Sloan Kettering and the NCI. If you look at the post on social media, you can find out more about him. Another scientist that we're highlighting is Har Gobind Khorana, PhD. He's an Indian American biochemist who actually won the Nobel Prize in 1968 along with others for his discovery of basically the order of nucleotides. He showed the order of nucleotides in nucleic acids, which carry the genetic code of the cell and control the cell synthesis of proteins. He won the prize with Dr. Nuremberg as well as Dr. Hawley. He was at the University of Wisconsin. And he was also the first scientist to chemically synthesize oligonucleotides, which obviously has transformed the way we do molecular biology and so cancer research. So I think it's just important to highlight these notable scientists of AANHPI background. It's not only to recognize them, but also to show that they're role models out there for future generations.
It's fantastic.
And we have one left, yes. And I won't name him yet. He was a former AACR president.
I think I know who that one is.
Okay.
Dr. Su, your career in early phase clinical trials has been seen the development of numerous cancer therapies. How do you view the impact of AANHPI scientists in the advancements of these therapies?
Yeah, I think they have done a lot, and you've heard from William in terms of some of the really giants in this field, and they have contributed so much to help us understand cancer science and cancer medicine. I think obviously not everybody will be a Nobel Prize winner. We have many that have contributed significantly that have not been, showcased to the extent I think that they deserve. And I'm hoping that with this task force and the support of AACR, we would be able to highlight them through, awards and lectures, really showcasing some of the important work that they have contributed to the field. And that has made the science much better and the lives of our patients much improved.
That's great. And speaking of awards, You've recently been you will be receiving, and you have received the award, the Karnofsky Memorial Award from the American Society of Clinical Oncology. And could you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, congratulations! That's quite a prestigious award.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. I'm going to tell you the truth that I was shocked when I received the news. I knew of a lot of the previous awardees. They are my mentors, and they are my role models. And I feel very humbled to stand on the shoulders of these giants. It will be given to me in June at the ASCO meeting, and I will have to give a lecture to summarize some of the work that I have done, and I think really some of the vision of where the field might take us in the next decade or so. So I won't give away too much of the lecture,
Okay.
since I'm still working on it. So,
but another great example of how like getting this award will enhance visibility, right, for what we've been talking about, and for the task force, and just for the community at large. So congratulations on that. I'm curious, this is a question for both of you, just a general question about the role that AACR has played in both of your careers. You both have been very involved in AACR, lots of committees, lots of efforts and activities, to the point where now you're on the board of directors of AACR. But William, could you just chat a little bit about the importance of AACR in your life, and perhaps even your thinking of a little bit of our future as an organization?
Yeah, I'm really grateful to AACR and for all the opportunities that it's really provided. I think I've been a fellow member since I was a fellow, so 20 plus years for sure, showing my age here. I think not only the different grants that are given, but also the speaking opportunities, the journal opportunities, the other leadership opportunities. It's just amazing, not only to be able to work with AACR, but then also with your colleagues across different topics and different areas, helping to plan the meeting, et cetera, et cetera. I'm particularly grateful because I can't remember what year now, but I won one of the Stand Up to Cancer Innovative Research Grant Awards when it first came out. And I have to say that was a really transformative award for my career. And it also gave me the confidence that I could do I could actually keep up with the promise of maybe what I was hoping to do. And I think with that opportunity, it also opened up a lot of other doors, being able to meet a lot of other people, opened up funding opportunities, etc. And so I was really grateful to AACR for that opportunity, and always wanted to give back. And I give back through helping with the various other activities that we're doing now, for example, including on the board. So I just really want to thank AACR, and particularly Marge, for her vision. And I think in the future, AACR will definitely continue to play a role. The membership is expanding significantly. As I mentioned, there's about 55,000 members now. It's growing every year. It is the largest cancer research organization. And I know that Marge and the board have a 2030 vision now in mind, and commissioned a whole task force to see what the future of AACR should be. So I really look forward to the outcome of that. Most importantly, I think it's had a huge impact on cancer patients and really improved the lives of cancer patients throughout not only the U.S., but also the world, which is the most important thing that we all want to do.
Yeah. And Lillian, how's AACR affected you and in your career, and then actually thinking now as a future president of AACR, huge responsibility and yet great opportunity to continue to move our mission forward.
Yeah, I'm very excited, Mitch. This will be a fantastic opportunity for us to work together and really bring some of the interest from our constituencies to action. And similar to William, I have too been involved with AACR for many years in standing committees, scientific committees, the board, and now having the opportunity to be president-elect. And also, I've been involved in, educational opportunities. I've been in several clinical trials methods workshop, and actually about 13 in total, where I probably have exposed to thousands of young investigators, early career investigators, and see how they really have the interest to learn from mentors abroad and also their own mentors. And I think certainly that's an area that is of great interest to me in terms of education and leadership development. And I hope we all have opportunities in my presidency year in the future, as well as other years, to really promote many aspects of AACR, not just science, but also education.
What prompted you? What was your motivation for wanting to become president or to run for that office, if you will? Besides Dr. Foti,
I think she's a very convincing person, as you probably have known for years. I think it gives me an opportunity to do something that I have never done. I have been able to have leadership in an institution, and I have been able to have leadership positions in national cooperative groups, but I've never been really able to take leadership in an international role that actually have the ability to gather interests and ideas from our scientific community and then, bring it to action, bring it to life, and really promote science and medicine to the way that we can actually benefit patients at the bedside. That kind of translation from, bench to bedside and back, I think it's an opportunity that I can have in AACR that I could not possibly have in just my own institution alone. So I'm really looking forward to open my eyes.
That's great. And obviously you, our current president, Dr. Patricia LaRusso, is somebody you know and are very fond of, and you guys work really well together, and terrific team. And we're very excited about the future leadership of AACR. It's really, really, really great. So William, I'm curious, what's your message of hope and progress for young AANHPI scientists? What kind of, is there some kind of message you'd like to convey to them and to get them to get motivated and inspired? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so for context, we've made a lot of progress in cancer research, but we still have a long way to go. There's still too many patients dying of cancer. So there's lots of research that needs to be done. So among the young that are coming up, I would really encourage you to speak up. Don't be afraid to challenge dogma. I would also say that communication is very important. So being able to communicate to your peers, to different members of the committees that you're on, in written form, in oral form, is very, very important as a medium for the way that we do things. And then finally, I would just say, and we talked about this, seek out mentorship. It doesn't show any sign of weakness. In fact, it's a good strength. Not only when you seek mentors, you also have to sort of understand on your own, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and where can you benefit from the ideas and advice of mentors. So I think those are all things that I would encourage our new members to do.
That's great. And Lillian, I'm curious how patients and feedback from patients helps you when you think about clinical trial design, and when you think about feedback that you get from patients. Are you seeking that kind of feedback to help you with your work, moving forward into the future?
Yeah, I mean, every day I do, because every day I see patients, and every day they teach me something that I have not thought about. As you know, I'm in the phase 1 clinical trial area where I see patients with very advanced cancers. And, some of them have really very limited options in their life in terms of treatment. And I think what I have learned is really giving them the time they need. We have helped them to, for example, understand consent forms that they are given for participation in clinical trial, make it simpler, make it more understandable. We've created videos and other aids to help them understand what they're getting themselves into and what the risk to benefit ratio is. We have a nurse navigator that helped them, connect the dots, and even simply booking appointments and reaching out to, specialists. to see them and having CAT scans organized. All that might sound very matter of fact for us in the medical field, but for a patient with advanced cancers, coming to the cancer center itself might be already challenging, let alone trying to navigate, 5 appointments at the same time. So definitely the feedback has learned us to be much more, helpful, much more informative and friendly.
Yeah, I've learned from Dr. LaRusso how important that patient feedback is, at least in her career when working at Yale. And William, I'm sure you've seen the same thing in your career as well.
Yeah, I mean, when I was division chief of hematology oncology at Vanderbilt, for sure. Also, when I saw patients and helped to run trials, I think I would encourage everyone to put themselves in the shoes of the patient. It gets so easy to just continue your day without thinking, this is the best, but without thinking about the patient and saying this is the best for me or for my group, when it really should be the other way around. What is the best for the patient and how can they navigate the system the easiest?
I see. Lillian, I think you touched earlier on work-life balance, and this is really a question for both you and William. I have 11 years now that I've been, almost 11 years at AACR. The dedication of the AACR membership is amazing. When you go to the annual meeting, you go to other meetings, and the work that you do day in and day out, work-life balance has to be an important factor to contemplate, because you probably could see burnout with people. And just kind of curious how you both deal with work-life balance yourselves, if you're willing to say a few words about that.
Probably not the best example of work-life balance. That's why I'm still seeking mentorship on this. I started a few things. One of my colleagues in my department and I go kickboxing every week. We have taken a subscription. So I have no choice because otherwise I'm just spending money and not using it.
Right.
So we have to go at least 9 times in 3 months. So we're learning how to do that. So
that's good.
Yeah, and I think taking time off to, in the past, I don't believe in vacations because I think they're overrated. But now I truly believe it's important to take some time, and because you have to think, you have to refresh and recharge. And I think having that break in your mind to stay away from, all the paperwork and stuff for even just a few days does help you to think of new ideas and innovations. So I believe in that.
William?
Yeah, for sure. Well, for me personally, family is very important. So I spend a lot of time with my family when I'm not working. I do also play tennis 3 times a week. I think that's really important, not only for the physical exercise, but also the mental exercise. And actually, when you're thinking about something else for a concentrated period of time, it actually helps you then when you come back to what you're working on. And then I am a fan of vacation. I do think you have to, rest your brain and recharge. And sometimes actually the best ideas come during vacation when you're not thinking about what you think you're supposed to be thinking.
Probably a good message for our younger investigators, right? To hear that message. And on that note, I just wanted to let our audience know, as they can see through this particular episode, how fortunate and how lucky we are at the AACR to have Dr. Pao and Dr. Sue involved in many things for the AACR. But you two are such an example of dedication and perseverance. It's a great honor for me to know you and spend time with you. But we really want to send a big thank you to both of you for your involvement with AACR, what you do to help patients and families on a day in and day out basis. It's phenomenal, and so thank you very much for that, and really appreciate you giving us a couple minutes of your time today to talk about this important issue. And I think it's going to be a wonderful episode.
Thanks a lot, Mitch. Thanks for hosting, and it's been a pleasure to be here with Lillian.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Dr. William Pao and Dr. Lillian Sue, for sharing your invaluable insights and the impactful work you are doing through the AACR AANHPI Task Force. To our listeners, today's conversation highlights the importance of diversity and the extraordinary contributions of AANHPI scientists to the field of oncology. For more information about the initiatives discussed and how you can support the advancement of cancer research, please check our show notes. Remember, your support and interest help drive the progress against cancer. For more details on our guests' work and how you can contribute to these groundbreaking efforts, please visit the show notes. Thank you for tuning in to Believe in Progress podcast. Keep supporting, keep hoping, and keep tuning in for more episodes that bring the brightest minds in cancer research into your lives. Until next time, let's all keep believing in progress. You can support life-saving cancer research with any donation you make today. Thank you for listening to Believe in Progress, the AACR Foundation podcast. This podcast is produced by CollegeCast, LLC. Please visit www.collegecastpodcast.com for more information.